Hi, my name is Maureen Powers and I'm with the Gemstone Foundation. The mission of the Gemstone Foundation is to help every person to use their visual system in a way that helps them have the maximum quality of life. Many children are not able to read correctly just because they have a muscular problem with their eyes, a problem with being able to focus them properly and rapidly, a problem with being able to move them rapidly across the page, and a problem sometimes with being able to converge them on the page appropriately. The Gemstone Foundation has technologies to be able to detect these children based on clinical trial results which have been obtained through NIH funding of other studies. Once we detect these children, we can provide them with a program that's available on the internet. They do exercises that help them focus their eyes, track appropriately, and also converge their eyes on the page. We've studied over 6,000 children, and we've discovered that if children read poorly, there's about a 50% chance that they have a problem with coordinating their eye movements. And this problem with coordinating their eye movements can be fixed. During the process of reading, the eyes are dynamic. They're not static. They're not sitting in one place simply looking through their glasses. They're moving rapidly and accurately across the page in good readers, and inaccurately across the page in poor readers. You can see that if the two eyes are not moving together, or if they're offset in one way or another, they're not going to be looking at exactly the same place on the page. And if the two eyes are not looking at exactly the same place on the page, then this little guy, the brain, gets a different view from each eye. And then the brain has to make a decision as to which one to look at. This is confusing to the brain. The child's not aware of it. It's an undetected vision problem. These children are working on the Gemstone program during class time in Kathy Patterson's class at Rodeo Hills Elementary School in Rodeo, California. They were assessed for their visual skills by the Gemstone staff, and those who required visual skills training were offered the program. In Kathy's class, every child elected to do the program, so she has 5 children at a time at the computer while she continues teaching her regular classroom.
My name is Kathy Patterson, and I first heard about the Gemstone program in a meeting in the library at my school. And it was especially important to me that year because we had a year of students who were very low in reading. So we wanted to do everything we could, and I heard about the program. Now, I don't like it when some kids get to do things and some kids don't get to do things, so I put all of my kids on the program, figuring if anything, it's going to help the good readers be better, and it hopefully will help the poorer readers get stronger. What's also interesting, as a good reader, I notice that when I stop understanding, it's because my eyes have jumped around on the page. And I'll have to turn back and realize that I started reading over here, and I ended up reading over here, and I didn't read in between. And I think even my good readers do that sometimes. When their concentration, gets jostled a little bit, their eyes don't keep the tracking. So practice tracking is good.
My name's Linda Larson. I've been the principal here at Rodeo Hills for 8 years. And approximately 3 years ago is when we first started hearing about the Gemstone project. And we had Maureen Powers come talk to our staff at one of our staff development days. And she kind of gave us an overview about the program and what she could possibly do for some of our children. So we became interested, and a couple of teachers wanted to try it out. We have grade level teachers that were interested, and then we also have reading intervention teachers and resource teachers. So that was 3 different areas where we were looking at using the Gemstone program. So at the present time, every year we screen kindergarten. All kindergartens are screened, and 3rd grade students. That vision screening is just to see if they need glasses. So every student is able to get glasses, but this Gemstone goes beyond that. Gemstones help students who are having trouble with tracking, with their eyes moving at the right appropriate time to read, to be able to learn to read. Sometimes that's not possible without covering up one eye so that one eye can track on its own. And we do not screen for that at our regular vision screening.
I always knew that I was smart. I always knew that I could read, but for some reason, things just weren't clicking. And my teachers just thought that I was, you know, not interested and just apathetic, and you know, they never really gave it much thought. I remember that reading out loud in class was always like the worst thing, just because I would lose my place a lot. I would kind of skip a line, and that was always really embarrassing, or I would just be reading along, and then I'd just get really kind of tripped up with my speech, and it was always the most terrifying thing in class, I guess.
I would say he was being pushed into the corner of having no choice but pretending he didn't care about school, because nobody understood what was going on. He had no choice but to pretend that it didn't matter anyway. He had other interests. He was a different person than you know, a school person. He was into sports or basketball or something, but he just wasn't a reading person.
As I did the you know, the exercises every day, just 3 or 4 weeks later, you know, I started having less trouble reading. I had less headaches. I you know, had much more stamina, much more kind of comprehension. Now, when I was reading, I was learning, and you know, I think without that teacher in 5th grade, without those exercises, you know, I probably wouldn't have ended up here at Stanford today.
Yeah, one day I was driving down the freeway with my boy. I guess he must have been 7 or 8 at that time, and we decided to play the license game where he names the numbers. And I said, "Let's play, David." And he said, "No, Dad, I don't want it. You mind? Because my eyes are hurting." I proceeded then for a long journey doing something called vision therapy, which clearly helped him significantly. And when I got through with that program, a couple months later, one day he's reading to me, and I just realized he wasn't stopping, he wasn't skipping lines, he wasn't skipping words, and it was one of the most exciting experiences I had. I said, "David, you're practically cured." I just think now I tell parents, kids who have education problems, just eliminate it. It's not very expensive. Get them tested and see what happens. I talk to schools all the time. Again, it's very critical. Eliminate that. It's cheap, it's inexpensive, and if it works, you've eliminated a problem and corrected a kid's life.